Today we're going to talk about the best ways of sleeping in your car, from big off-roaders to proper campers to inflatable mattresses stuffed in the back of your vehicle. Oh yeah, and a massive roof tent on a Porsche 911. Let's nap! Coming up alongside that Porsche, we'll also test the tent for a Defender, get horribly injured, look at mattresses in the back of cheap Romanian cars and Chinese newcomers, and see whether any of them can top the good old camper van.
You have to get the right position and then you can get your fist involved.
Oh, and some ground rules. Of course, you can kip in your car at lunchtime with a pillow, or buy an aftermarket roof tent. But the cars here today are only ones in which all these sleeping and camping bits come officially from the manufacturer. Now we're going to see which of our sleep solutions is the easiest to set up, which one is the most comfortable, and which represent the best value. So we're going to start with this, the Dacia Duster, which is great value because it starts at just over £19,000, and that's for the car. I also like it because it comes with this. Now this is the Dacia In Nature Sleep Pack, which is a unit that basically slots entirely into the boot of your Duster and then folds out, apparently making a full double bed. Now I've deliberately not messed with all of this stuff so that I can work out how simple it is to intuitively set it up. So let's begin. First of all, there is a couple of clips here which I noticed, and that folds out into a little handy picnic table. And under here is a bit of storage which looks like there's a load of wooden Lego, but we'll have a little go at this first. So, take out the parcel shelf, like that. Not sure where to put that, so we'll put that there. So I've got to put down the seats. Back door's open, put the seats down. So this just looks like a load of wooden slats, but that obviously lifts up like that. Okay, so I'm going to go round here. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to swing those out. Oh, okay, right. So they pop out to there, and then you can sort of see where the slots go. So if I do that and then slot that into the end, yeah. Oh, it's like a giant Lego set, but it's made of wood. So those obviously go there. And then what do these do? Right, we've got two of those and two of those. So, oh, right, I see. These go into these slots here as little support feet. Okay, that's quite neat. Now, what are these though? What are they? What? Oh, right, I see. This is actually quite intuitive. If you pull these up, then I'm assuming that that will slot in there somehow, like that. So yes, and yes. And then you can pull that out. And they're obviously like supports for that side and that side. So this all slides out, look. You see this moving? So you have to put them in to support these slidey bits which push out into the doors. Okay, that makes sense. And then you get this bit, put that in there. There's your mattress. Then there's two, right. Then I assume these go in here. Look, bits of Velcro. Like that. That actually does make a fairly decent bed. And you've then got storage underneath here for your pyjamas and stuff like that. Under here I've still got, now this is the optional back of the car tent. So you can make a tent that comes straight off the hatchback. So you've got an airlock to maybe get in and get changed. But it also comes with, oh, that was right in the eye. I'm assuming these are blackout blinds. Oh, they're blackout now because I can't see anything. And see what we've got. Be careful because these are dangerous. Hang on. It's a little bit windy. I didn't realise they were all sprung loaded. This is just a big game of find the right shape. If you slip them into where the bottom of the window is and squash them a bit, they just pop in. Now this is a really good idea because you don't want people, you know, you parked up somewhere coming and tapping on your window, flashing their headlights at you, any of that. I'm not going to do them all because
They are quite self-explanatory. And then, I guess you just jump in. Now, the problem with this is, you haven't got much height here. So if you're going in this way, it's a bit difficult. And if you're going in this way, again, if you look, you've got like a foot. So it's not great if it's raining or it's muddy, because you're going to end up trying to post yourself through this gap. So, oh God. Yeah, that's it, we're doing well. I suppose you'd have the boot already shut, and then you just shut the doors. But actually this is pretty solid, and if you're lying down, it's a little bit claustrophobic, but I quite like it. Not much headroom, not much storage, but you've got access to some of the U-clip accessories that Dacia uses in its cars. So you could put your cup holder on a U-clip there, and just, you've got a power socket there. And once this is shut down, you're actually locked inside a car, so it's very secure. Nobody can get to you. I like it. Seems like a nice, innovative little way of having a nap in your car. The Dacia is pretty good.
Dacia also makes this for the Jogger and the Bigster, and it costs £1,740 with the blackout blinds, which I do think you need, and £2,090 if you have the tailgate tent. Now you might not recognise this, but it's from a Chinese company called Xpeng, and it's the G9. It's a 5-seat electric SUV with air suspension, 260 kilowatts of charging too.
But what about recharging yourself? Well, the G9 actually has a couple of options when it comes to having a little nap in your car. Now, sleeping in your vehicle is actually quite popular in Asia, so the G9 has a fully reclining passenger seat with a calf rest, so you can actually get it all the way back and have a little bit of a kip. But far cooler is actually something that's in the boot. Now this is a really trick bit of kit, because in this boot is what looks like quite a nice little suitcase. It's got Xpeng branding, it's all official, very nice, and it's triangular, so it fits neatly up against the back seats, so it still leaves you with a boot. There are here seat floppers, electrical, and then I've never done this before, but I kind of know the theory. You get in the back and you undo this and you flop that down there, and then look, this is an inflatable mattress. So we roll it out and then plug it into the 12-volt socket and then switch it on. So we've got inflate and deflate. Like a butterfly from a chrysalis, we get proper little airbed. Oh yeah, not bad. Let's try it on for size. Oh my God, that's really comfortable. And it's almost sort of got a pillow end. So if you've got a couple of pillows and a duvet, that's pretty good. And because the car's so big, I've got plenty of space. I'm just over 6 feet tall. I'd be quite happy having a nap in here. And one of the cool things about the G9 in its camping mode is that it can tap the traction battery with the 12-volt battery. So it can leave the aircon all night and keep you comfortable, and it can also play soothing sounds as you sleep, and you won't get a flat battery or a flat airbed. And you know the best bit? When you've finished and you want to get rid of this really, really comfortable mattress, you just go on the side and press deflate, if I can see it, which is there. And it literally sucks the air out, so in theory, we should be able to pack it back up again. Now you can get these in China for lots of different cars, anywhere between like 100 quid and 800. But this is the official Xpeng version. And to be honest, when it's packed away again, it's very, very neat, just fits the car nicely. I have to say this is a lot better than I expected. It's genuinely a really nice option. Let's just wait for it to go down and then I'll see if I can pack it away. So now that's stopped, we open the back doors, do a bit of flippy flopping, so the wings are in, pull those sides over. It's not perfect, but that is back together. I've got to say, I was not expecting much out of this. That's brilliant.
Thing is, these car nap solutions are a bit compromised when it's bad weather, because you're going direct from rain into bed. There's no airlock in between. So what if you want something for more than just a quick nap contorted into a strange shape?
So this is much more typical of the kind of thing you think of when it comes to sleeping in cars, because it's a Volkswagen California camper, which ironically isn't sold in California. But these are really very good and very versatile. They start at about £63,000 for the basic version. An Ocean, like this one, is about 80 grand, but they are more hotel than hostel. I should know because I recently took one very far north of the Arctic Circle and I'm not dead. So what do you get? Well, for a start, you get an electro-hydraulic pop-top roof. Slide this back, this falls into your face, then you press this button and it goes away from your face. And once that's up, you can push this and get loads of extra headroom. See? Now the California has sliding doors both sides, leading Volkswagen to create what it calls a three-room concept. Now on this side, there is a rail just along the gutter at the top of the car, which you can attach a tent to, which is seamless. So the inside becomes your lounge area. You can put a table here and then swivel these because they're captain's chairs. Convenient. And then it becomes a four-person kind of banqueting hall. There's a few different things here which I'll show you, and then you pop out into the third room, which is where the awning comes out. Now I should be able to remember how to do this because I spent a bit of time with this. You open that, you pull this rod out, you stick it in that side, and then the awning arrives. But first I want to show you a couple of other things. See this? Outside table. Fold that up, pull that down, find the little thumb triggery thing which is somewhere under here. Look, look, look. And then that goes all the way down, and then there's another one there and it folds out, and it's not supposed to do that, it's supposed to do that. But there you go, little table. There's some power sockets here, which is always very useful. Lots of other little bits. Here we have a rather nice fridge. Got some bottles of water and other things in here. And then in here we have, because it's got this kind of like half cab, under here, this is a chopping surface, but under here you have a single ring burner and a little sink with a tap. Under here you have a bit of storage, more power points, including the obligatory cast iron Volkswagen tiny frying pan, good for a single egg. There's more storage back here, and then when you want to sleep, you've either got the double upstairs, which is kind of hard to get into. Your granddad is not going to be launching himself into the top cabin. But then these seats, basically, if you pull these, they slide forward like this individually. This is a four-seater. You can have a five-seater, but then it only sleeps four, which feels weird. You pull these and these, and then you see how it goes kind of flat. Whoa, it needs to come forward a bit more than that. And then if you go to the back, you pull this, and this folds out into another double bed. Now I've found that this one is actually the most comfortable place to sleep. You can have the onboard heater knocking away, it's just a little petrol heater, keeps it perfectly snug. If you go upstairs it gets a little bit cold. If there's two of you, you can actually pull down the roof, sleep down here, and it's very comfy. There is, however, one problem with this. It hasn't got an awful lot of storage, and if you need a wee in the middle of the night, you either have to get out or use an alternative method. One of the things I really like about VW campers, Californians in particular, is the fact that they use every available inch of space. So you get storage everywhere. Oh, that's heavy. And then in the back, you get this, which is a little zip. Go all the way around, and in here are some really rather well-made and chunky chairs. So when you've set up your awning, these are very, very easy to deploy. And that's the kind of neat kind of design stuff that I really like. And everything is velcroed and kind of kept secure, but you can do macho chair deployment. And you know what, you could pop out at services and have a cup of tea under your awning and it wouldn't be that much of a problem. The table, however, under here, again, look how neat it is. You just fold things out and it's that quick. Very convenient. And then in the back, there's a couple of other bits. You've got a lot more storage under here, so if you want to get your bags and stuff gone. And then in here is where you've got the electrical breakers, you've got fresh water and an attachment for a hose, or indeed a cold water shower. It's all very neat, and actually you could spend, you know, a week or two camping in this. I have found though that these are better for 2 people rather than the 4 that it says it can sleep, because you'd be on top of each other. It's a 2-person, 2-week joy machine. But there's more, in the shape of this, the Mercedes-Benz V-Class Marco Polo. Marco Polo being the camper versions of Mercedes products. And it is first-class living, baby. Now, a basic version of this costs £88,000. An AMG line like this one costs 98.5 grand. It's the same theory as the VW, but you get a pop-up roof with a double bed up there. Swivelly captain's chairs. It's got a yacht-style floor, classy. Luxury towel storage. Double bed up here, which you can stow away for headroom, or then let down for sleeping. Unlike the VW, the Marco Polo doesn't have double sliding doors, but it does allow you to have a much bigger unit in the side. So you have a sink with a tap. You have more storage than the VW, which is actually quite useful because you can put all sorts of things. I brought my kettle. This bit slides that way to reveal all your pots and pans, and then in here we have bowls, cups, all that sort of stuff. You can slide this forwards like this to become a little dining table. Then when you've swiveled all the seats, you've got seating for 5 people for tea. And then in here you've got a twin ring gas hob. This, it's rather large, the fridge. So it's pretty good. It also has matching throw pillows, inbuilt privacy blinds, a ground floor double bed that operates, that you slide like this, and then you very slowly wait for it to fold. And you have a nice double bed with a pop-out mattress that's actually very comfortable. But there's more. Right, if you come out the back here, you can actually do more adjustments to make it more comfortable. Oh yeah, and that's where you put your gas bottle, and this is the connection for a cold water shower, just like the Volkswagen. See this backrest? It actually lifts up to become sort of a little day bed. It also reveals quite a lot of storage. So we have thermal window covers if it's cold. Don't need them right now. Got a couple of really nice camping chairs. You've got chocks if you need them, though the Marco Polo does come with a thing called camper level control, which is a feature of the air suspension, so it automatically levels itself, so you might not need them. And then in here, if we flick these round to there and round to there, we have a rather lovely camping tabler. But you probably need, I don't know, a little bit of sunshade because it's quite hot today. So you come round here, you grab this, you stick it in the hole, and then you begin to unwind. You have to get the right position and then you can get your fist involved. This isn't bad. I'm sure if you did this more than once, you'd get it. This isn't too bad really. Look, if you've got used to it, it'll be a lot slicker. I've never actually done this before, so might need some lashings or something, I don't know. Honestly, I think this is the kind of rig that I could live in for a few weeks, but at nearly £100,000, I am not surprised it feels good. It's also about the limit size-wise that you can go without compromising being a car. Anything bigger gets into proper motorhome territory. But there is a compromise between sleeping in a car and a full-on camper van. And it's something like this. Now this is a Land Rover Defender Outbound Edition with a rooftop box. Now, interestingly, this isn't just any roof tent, but it's a roof tent by Autohome, who are an Italian company who apparently invented the hard shell roof tent in 1958. so that's quite fancy. This makes it more versatile. So all it has to do is go around here, unclip this like that. Now this should be one gesture apparently, but I'm not tall enough, or am I? Not quite, so I'm gonna have to open this door. One thing I have noticed is that there is no lock, not even a padlock hole for this roof tent, so any tramp can get on your drive and pop in and possibly go for a poo. That's not great, but once you've got it to a certain point, it should, oh gosh, gently rise up into position, because it's got two gas struts under there, so that should pull itself straight. And then once you've got that done, you come around here. I finally found a use for Land Rover's side ladder. Actually, it's got a lock on here, so maybe that's the thing that stops people getting into your roof tent. You just lock this away. Now you can get into these from the either side or the rear, depending on how your van's orientated. And this is quite interesting. Just undo that. Oh, right, so we've got this ladder, which is obviously meant for this tent. Now that is probably because if you haven't got the optional ladder that attaches to your Land Rover on the side, you'll need a ladder to get into it. So that's obviously the one that comes with the roof tent. It's actually better built than this wobbly one that's on the side of the Land Rover. But then we can go up here, crush-proof mattress. It's got an insulated base, and then in. Oh, it's not bad. Come and have a look. As much as I criticise getting into this thing, it is pretty good when you're up here. This shell is actually fully insulated. You see it's all soft touch, and this mattress is actually like a memory foam sort of stuff, so that you don't feel the top of the roof box. And then it's got some big nets, because it's quite high. I mean, I'm sitting up quite comfortably here. You can put all sorts of stuff in here. So these are like zip-in mosquito nets, so you can still have a breeze, but have some closure on the windows. You can put like pillows and stuff up here. There's some battery operated lights, a couple of little pockets and things. The windows are plastic, but like I said, you can zip in the mosquito nets. I've slept in these things a few times and they are actually pretty comfortable. The only problem comes if you need a wee in the middle of the night, you have to go down and out on a ladder. If it's dark, it can be quite dangerous. I've nearly fallen off them a couple of times. But if you get up here for a quick kip, they are perfect. And they're quite warm and quite cool if the sun's beating down on them. Generally, this feels like a pretty quality piece of kit. I would certainly be capable of spending a couple of nights in one. So, advantages and disadvantages. Well, from a very basic point of view, you've got a Defender 130, which is the kind of vehicle that can take you to places that all of these others can't get you. So you can get the best views to wake up to. And don't forget, you can always take the roof tent off and leave it somewhere else, and then you've just got a really good Land Rover. The thing is, this roof tent is one of those really convenient things where you find a good spot, you can just pop the top, it comes up, and it is really comfortable in there. I've spent some time in them, they really do work. Disadvantages, well, obviously you have to be on the roof, so you have to get all the way down if you want to do anything. And a Defender Outbound like this starts at about 80 grand. One like this with a special paint and everything else is about 93, then it's another couple of grand for the top tent. I think it's a good compromise. They're really comfortable to sleep in. They're just not exactly cheap. That's an awful lot of hotel rooms. But if the Land Rover feels a little bit too practical, how about something like this? A Porsche 911 with a roof tent. Now, the interesting thing about this is it's proper Porsche tech equipment. So it costs £4,400 and it's delivered by a Porsche dealer. And it is designed by Porsche Design for any kind of Porsche. You can put it on a Cayenne or a Macan if you want to be properly normal, but this looks interesting, shall we say. And it does come with locking clasps, unlike the Land Rover, so you won't get random people popping it open when it's parked. You just pop them off and then push this shell. Two gas struts, again, like the Land Rover, and up it goes. And then you grab this ladder and just pull it. And once it's locked out a bit, you rock it like that. And bingo, you have, oh, hang on. if you don't do that and you do that, oh good God, what have I done here? There we go. Put it at the right height. Don't trap your skin in it. You should be fine. Now, once you've done that, sort of pull this up like this and then just pull this metal bar a bit further this way, just to give it a bit more tensile strength, and then you get the mattress and you put it into position like that. There you go. So what I need to do is then go back in and have a look. Right, so what do you get with your Porsche design tent? Well, you get a really quite nice mattress, and even though it's very thin, look, it's only a couple of inches, it's actually quite comfortable. And then the rest of this space is much like the other cars that we've been testing. You can unzip these and you have built-in mosquito nets, so you still get the breeze. You've got a nice little skylight here, which keeps it light in here without people being able to see what you're doing, so if you're getting changed and stuff, or indeed sleeping. I think you could get 2 people in here quite comfortably, and when you look at the Porsche from the outside, it doesn't look like it's going to be this big, but it genuinely is quite roomy. There's a couple of pockets for your shoes, there's some battery powered lights, and those gas struts seem pretty solid. But this is quite basic, it's more of a nap thing again. It feels really good quality. The one thing I've noticed is that this one kind of needs pegging out and tying down, otherwise it does seem to flap about quite a lot. And my problem is that with a 911, it feels slightly performative to have a rooftop tent on it. You'd be far better having an aerodynamic roof box and then carrying an actual tent if you're going camping. But I suppose if you've got a 911 and you want to do this sort of thing, you might as well have all the sexy accessories. There! Oh. The thing is, I did actually think you could go to a campsite in this rig and then take that off, put it on the floor and go for a drive if you really wanted to. We don't have bears in the UK, and generally I do think it's fun and a bit of a laugh, but not that serious. So there's 6 ways of sleeping in cars, but if you had to stay in one for a week, which would you pick? Let us know.